Here are the steps to changing your leading edge bladder. What we need to do is get the leading edge flat from seam to seam, so you want to tuck the leading edge under. Step 2, we need to remove our linking valves. Simply pull out like that. Step 3, we need to remove the valve cap from the inflate valve. Pops off like that. Now we push these valves inside. Again, we're going to be using our kite line to attach to the end of the bladder. There's a small zipper in the end of the leading edge. Inside, there's a piece of Velcro that holds the bladder at the end of the casing. Just remove that with your finger. Now we make a loop in our kite line to tie around the end of the bladder. Making sure that all the EPI valves on the leading edge are pushed inside. We're ready to pull the bladder out. Opening the zip with our string attached to the far end. You can simply pull the bladder out. Okay, once we've got the bladder through, take the string off. Now it's a good idea to attach the string to a fixed point so you don't lose it while you're pulling out the other side. I like to just use the Velcro on the deflate valve. You can't lose it. For the other side of the kite, we just repeat the same thing we did. With our string, we're going to tie it around the end of the bladder. Make the loop. It's ready to pull through. Okay, pulling the bladder through. Same again, we're going to take the string off and fix it to an anchor point so we're not going to lose it. With our new bladder, we want to line up the valves to the holes in the leading edge so we make sure it's the right way around. To do the short side of the bladder first. This just ensures that the second side you do is the side with the valves, and it stops any twisting or any chance of twisting. With our bladder in the centre, we fold it back, keeping it flat. So with our string, again, we just make a loop, a new end. Just like the strut, we're going to turn the end of the bladder inside out so it fills into the end of the casing properly. This is definitely a two-man job. It's very hard to do this by yourself, so you'll need someone at the other end to be pulling the string as you feed it into the leading edge. Pulling the end of the bladder all the way out. Okay, removing the string. We feed the Velcro back in to the end and stick it down on the inside. Zip it up. We're looking for our strut valve, which should be located right next to your strut in the general area, and we just need to push it up under the ridge. We're good. Just clip the EPI back together. From the centre of the kite, we prepare to do the other side. So now just slowly keeping the bladder flat. This side's a little bit more important because it has all your intake, outtake valves. So we need to make sure they all line up with no twists. Once again, we turn the end of the bladder inside out. Loop. Someone pulls it, Okay, now we've got to make sure the valves go in properly and no twists. This is the last part of the bladder. Keep pulling until you can find valves in the right spot. If it goes too far, not a problem. You can just put your hand in, pull it back until we can locate that valve. Just push it through the hole easily. This one. Need to put our cap back on. Slide that down. Make sure there's a ridge right underneath the cap. Make sure this goes down all the way under the ridge. And this will guarantee that your valve cap sits down properly and it won't leak. The other EPI clip. Locating the last EPI valve. Last but not least, we secure the end of the Velcro, the bladder end into the casing with the leading edge. Do up the zip, make sure that zip goes up, right up under the neoprene cover. Stop pumping about halfway through just to make sure that the bladders are filling into the ends properly, so you don't blow out an end. This one looks fine. As you can see on this one, it's not quite filling out properly. So we need to let the air out and feed the bladder in further up, making sure the Velcro is positioned properly so we get a nice cleaner end filling out like the other end.